everyone here present. And all those who are online, such as you, we go to the next item on our agenda because today we want to keep the time. And we also like to apologize to those who joined very early, though we didn't kick off as we expected. All right, so I'll share with us a safety moment very briefly. And what I will share with us will be an experience that I witnessed just a few days ago. So I was in Lagos for sports events in my own company. And while we were rushing, in early morning rush to get to the airport or at the airport because the flight was early, I noted that one of our colleagues was at a point confused because as people were rushing to board their flights, he suddenly couldn't find his phone at the scanning point. And it was a bit hysterical for the young man because we were about to board and he didn't know what had become of his phone. So fortunately for him, I gave him my phone, so he made calls and calls, and ultimately, while we were in the flight, it was fortunate that somebody had picked up the phone. It wasn't a case of the phone being stolen. But what are the lessons that we learned from such an event? Is the fact that when you are at the airport, be it in the rush hour or not, one thing is key, you need to be aware. You need to be aware. Now, for me as a personal practice, when I travel, I always put my phones in the bag. I never put the phones in the trays or anything like that because sometimes in rush hours, things can get lost. So if you are taking flights, I also advise you always have a bag ready whereby you can put items or things for the colleague. But if you don't have a bag, then you need to be very aware so that you don't lose items. Also be cautious, don't be in the rush. Once you are past your item, ensure that you are following your item just afterwards. Don't be delayed in doing other things. So if possible, take other options so that you remain safe and you don't lose items. We know the Naira is not smiling, so buying items can be expensive. So save your dollars where you have them and keep safe. So that's what I'd like to share with us this morning as a safety moment. So at this point, I would like to welcome a few persons who are here with us. And I know our chapter coordinator will do a great deal in that regard. So first of all, once again, I'd like to welcome everybody here who are in this room. So I would like to bring to the high table a few persons, and I will invite our chapter coordinator to do even much more than that. So I would like to invite, and with your hands clapping to this person that I will call, please I'd like you to welcome Dr. Jide Olufuyi to the high table. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Jide Olufuyi. Also, I would like to invite to the high table, he is a member of the Advisory Council of NAPI. Please welcome Mr. J. Emako to the high table as well. Then the third person at this moment that will be on the high table is none other but our energetic coordinator of the Paschal chapter. Please put your hands together for Dr. Magnus Kano. So these persons are chosen persons to be on the high table, and of course, to all the people here in the room present and all those online, you are also highly esteemed. You can put your hands together for yourselves. So right now, I would like to invite our chapter coordinator to come and give us some opening remarks, as well as mention some notable dignitaries who are here with us in this meeting.
Receive ABCC events. Well, very good morning to you, distinguished colleagues, participants, those online and those here present. For my singular honor to really stand here today to welcome you to the main edition of the Harcourt chapter, the technical and business meeting. right? So this is supposed to be an event that happens either monthly or every other month. And I'm delighted that we are today here to mark the schedule for this month. And in spite of the early threats this morning, the rain, I'm very particularly pleased that we still have this number here today. So thank you for your resilience. It shows your commitment to NAPI and what we stand for in the Harcourt chapter. Without taking a lot of time, I just want to mention that at NAPI, we say that our ideas find oil and gas. Is that correct? And platforms like this help to foster that, because we create platforms and provide the fora for cerebral engagement, where discussing and discussion of insightful topics. Hopefully we can generate ideas we can use to even make our practice and the energy sector more solid in our country, Nigeria. We have quite a number of people online, and I'm aware that our VP is there. VP, I recognize you, I see you very well, and a host of other ESCO members, and I'm certain that our market president is going to join. Please, when he comes up, let me know so that I can give him a little airtime to say hello to the house. I'm also particularly delighted and thankful to our sponsor for this month. Without you, it would have been a challenge to really gather here today, because what we do is premium meetings. So it's not easy to really host the Harcourt chapter technical meeting. So thank you to Trenchmark Services Limited, our sponsor for today. Please, a round of applause. I really highlight that, these one of our latest babies as corporate members, in your organization. So we are delighted to really forge this partnership, that is building up strong with you. So thank you very much. Also recognizing Shell Nigeria SPDC is here. Some corporate members, we're talking about NNGS, Unicell is here, Geotechnical also here. LOG Engineering is here. I know our double chairman is representing very, very strongly. Anchor Point is also here, Tall C, and even from the university, Uniport is here, and I know many others are coming, and also ATO Geophysical. But to recognize, lastly, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I reached out to you, you were traveling, but you made time to be here today to show that you're committed to this chapter, and we really, really thank you for your services. And also our advisory council, member, thank you for always supporting, what we do at this chapter. It can only be better, and the future is bright with this kind of formidable, backing. So thank you. We're going to go right straight into it and give you time to really sum the very deep and highly technical presentation that you're going to be receiving today. I need to finish the parcel so that when you get to that point, we can serve it fully. But we are really, really, really grateful to Trenchmark Services Limited. So thank you everyone who's made today a big success. I wish you a rich learning time, and also sharing from your perspective and experiences. That will be it from me. Thank you very much.
You can do better with your hands for Harcourt's chapter coordinator. All right, like he had rightly said, we are here for business, and we want to begin the business right about now. I had earlier introduced 3 persons who are taking the hot seats for managing today's meeting, and graciously so. So now I would like to introduce one person in particular who is the chairperson for today's event. So I just want to read out something about him, and then he will introduce the person who will be speaking to us this morning and into the afternoon. So our chairperson today, who has graciously accepted this noble task, is none other than Dr. Olajide Olufuyi, and he is the Managing Director and CEO of LOJ Engineering Consultants, LOJ Energy Services, and LOJ International Education Consultancy, So Energy is a company over a decade handling several integrated studies and FDP projects for companies, many companies here within Nigeria, such as NOC, AMI, others, and many others. He holds a Ph.D. in petroleum geology from the University of Harcourt and an executive MBA London Business School and finance. And he has worked in the Nigerian oil and gas industry for over 33 years. So that's quite a lot in mud logging, in geochemistry, biostratigraphy, in core resonation, reservoir studies, and many others. He also has over 30 years membership with the NAPE and with services and support to the association at different times. He is happily married and he has 3 sons. So he also served in the Little Strat Committee of the Niger Delta. So I'd like you to put your hands together as we welcome. I'll give the mic, we have the mic with him, Dr. Jide Olufuyi, who will read out and introduce the speaker for today's meeting. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's a very good one to be here. I'm sure we're going to enjoy ourselves learning today. The online audience as well, I say good morning to you all. Thanks for joining. We have a big topic before us today, Seabed Geohazard assessment using integrated tools for offshore operations, techniques, processes, and products. And to do justice to that topic today is Dr. A.J. Elijah Paschal. He's a doctorate degree holder in petroleum geology and a geoscientist with Trenchmark Services Limited. He has over 8 years of experience in seabed geohazard survey, hydrographical survey, geotechnical and exploration geosciences. He has a robust technical communication, leadership, and problem-solving skills experience, and has been a very active member of NAPE and other professional bodies. He currently serves as a member of the NAPE News team. He's also an SCLS alumni, SCLI alumnus, and a passionate young professional with several publications in international journals. Please join me to welcome Dr. A.J. Elijah.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Chairman, mentor for introducing me. Greetings online audience. My friend in the UK, and my director of operation is also on his way. Thank you very much for introducing me. Here for the business of the day. Our topic today is seabed geohazard assessment using a integrated for offshore operation. Look at the techniques, processes, and products. So in a just a question, it's an interactive section. When it's like a question and presentation, the resolution I cannot answer, our chairman is already available to that. He has also other things that I also want to do. All right. That the outline there is to look at geohazard and offshore geohazard overview, and the physical and the technical survey operation that are needed for such assessments, and then to processing, charting, and reporting. Of course, the offshore environment is located away from the coastline or open waters. And the operations in this offshore environment include drilling, navigation, construction, pipelaying, exploration, production, transportation, and other support services. It's very interesting to know that these operations take place on either platforms, specialized vessels, or specialized operation. And offshore construction involves development of infrastructure such as pipeline and the seabed cables to facilitate transportation of resources. These structures are very, very important. Hence, they are constructed using very specialized. That is why there is need for us to have a detailed geohazard assessment to mitigate challenges and manage during the construction phase. Fiscal 2075 geohazard as either local or regional site in soil conditions, having the potential of developing into a major events, causing loss of life or damages to the environment and field installations. The cartoon diagram we have here is showing what's of the and there are different major classifications of seabed diversity. It could be seabed features like the mud, volcano, channels, faults, faultments, and evidence of landslide. We also have phenomena like fluid flow features and seabed liquefaction or cyclic failures or cyclic loading that are product of these seabed features. So if you're able to categorize it, then you can then map them out and assess them appropriately. We also have our man-made structures that are also found within the seabed because we want to tap energy within that environment. Platforms, whether they are active platforms, whether they are top or abandoned platforms. We also have a pipeline, whether on seabed or buried beneath the seabed. And we also have communication lines. There was a time NVA had reached and they one of their cables within the sea that got ruptured. So how we have so many facilities around the country. This actually showing the different facilities that you can find around seabed environment. You can see your chimneys emanating from this edge up. You can see your faults, micro faults, and what we call polygonal faulting, near surface faulting, that are very, very important and interesting. Why should we carry out geohazard assessment? Yes, Nigeria, we're talking about blue economy. So obviously, most companies are moving into the deep environment. So for us to move into the deep environment, we must understand the terrain of that environment. Want to know the seabed geohazard condition, the nature of the geology around that environment, so that we can plan our processes very well. And we have a last line around this area, a coastline last line, which is a hazard to run into the marine. All right. One of the reasons why we need to carry out a hazard assessment is early in the history of the offshore oil industry, a number of accidents happened as a result of either direct or poor knowledge of the hazardous effects. And then these effects can actually lead to either a blowout when it makes shallow high pressure gas pockets. You could also have pipeline broken when bodies were unable to remain stable due to poor anchor holding or what we call differential penetration. One of the legs is moving faster because it's on a channel or within a port mark is moving faster than the other. So it may lead to what we call loss of the whole bridge, like as it is the structure will build that, or we have a case where this dark compact will actually collapse all externals, leading to death of personnel. We also have, in this case, you have to understand that these environments, it's not like the other environment we have on land, so you must be very careful in carrying out the operation. So in order to avoid or causing avoid accident of this nature, you carry out the detailed geohazard assessment. All right, there are key objectives in seabed geohazard assessment that we should take into. Number one is that if you have to identify the position and depth of changes in slope within the survey location of your proposed structure, you have to determine the presence of facilities within your area of interest. And you also have to determine the presence of natural obstruction. There are natural features like aqueducts, boulders, show galaxy. Determine the presence of man-made obstructions as well, and then identify shallow geohazard features that will be very significant in our region. Now, understanding subsurface geology is very important. If you look at this, these are seabed mapping, and moving from here down to the deep mapping. This surface here is more like a cut from the continental shelf here, and then the features down the deep environment appears different. But if you look at this picture here, let's say we take these pictures to this point, and they look like a cake. And of course, cakes are made up of different properties, depending on the materials that were used in baking the cake. So if you cut through the cake, you're going to see different layers composed of different materials. And then these materials, the malleable, the plastic, and all of these together is what we use in defining what we call geotechnical properties. Now, why do geologic layers differ? It's very important that we have to trace it. Why do geologic layers differ? And what they have different geotechnical properties? Number one is the origin, the shape, the size and mineralogy of the particle that makes up the soil is one of the reasons why they have geotechnical properties. One of the reasons is also the positional environment, the environment upon which these sediments were deposited. And the third reason is the stress these sediments are undergoing. And of course, you know our soil, they have memory, so they can tell the stories of the past that happened to them. So they don't forget easily. So when you look at these properties keenly, you should be able to infer using the principle of uniformity, that the present is the key to the past, and not just to the past, a touch to the future. Because what happens to these sediments that you're dealing with today could also happen to whether sediment in the nearest future. So we integrate all of these and then come up with our models. Yes, there are different approaches to technical seabed geohazard assessment. Because in 2009, there was a conference because of a serious event that happened in Gulf in Italy, where a very serious seabed geohazard happened, leading to loss of life. And one of the main outcomes of that ICHA conference is that there are different approaches to this geohazard assessment. One of them is what we call the geohazard assessment census tool, and then the engineering geohazard assessment that connects the industry. And then the public agencies, the local have different agencies that oversee the coastline environment. So there's also a connect between engineering geohazard assessment and the non-specific government assessment, geotechnical assessment. And then there's also the academia, they have researchers, different departments of geology, marine geology that are endowed and universities today to carry out research into these environments. All right, techniques. Techniques are very, very important because you don't just start this assessment anyhow. You have to follow what we call process, from process to product. So one of the first key points you need to take note of is the mobilization. When you want to carry out your hazard assessment, you have to mobilize your personnel, you have to mobilize your equipment. The personnel are your trained personnel, your online navigation that I will show you today, your geologists and geophysicists that will acquire this data, carry out some in-situ tests, and then develop some preliminary reports before the final processing can be done in the office. The main phase is mobilization is that point you're crossing from the jetty to your location. You know, the calibration. Calibration is very important because you have to make sure that you avoid error due to parallax, like the way we used to write then. And then acquisition, processing, interpretation, charting, and reporting. Seabed geohazard assessment starts from setup. Your setup must be right. If you don't get your setup right, you end up acquiring wrong data, and in the end affect your overall project. So your tests are different types of path tests, and path tests performed on your multibeam system, and then you run your lines, and your path test will take into what we call row calibration, pitch, and your latency. These are very important because that's why we deploy MRU, motion reference unit, to help us to calibrate the inefficiency in the process of acquiring this data, to help to synchronize our EPS, to help to synchronize our EPS time, to help to synchronize acquisition time, so that if we are doing this pipeline at total point, we'll be sure that this pipeline was mapped at total point. So that's why we need to carry out our calibration. Now, there are different geophysical survey equipment that we can use for our operation. We need a surface positioning equipment. We have a SINAP, Trenchmark global positioning system. The SINAP is here. Then there are also other types of, you need your gyro compass for heading. You know that head is moving, we are facing. And then for the site sonar data, there are different types. We have the CMAX two fish, you can see there. We have edge tech, and then we have like 300 site sonar. There are so many of them. And then we have the subsea positioning, we have the USBL, the long base baseline, and the acoustic beacons. These help us to track our object around the seabed. Then in terms of echo sounding, we have a single beam, multi-beam echo sounding, depending on the depth you want to sample. And this is a simple, this picture showing a multi-beam echo sounding, geoacoustic, what we do is an echo sounding, showing the top side and then the transducer around this one. So we also have other equipment like the telemetry system for communication, the 2D for geohazard assessment. We also have sub-bottom profiler, marine magnetometer to detect ferrous and non-ferrous objects. We also have a motion reference unit, initial motion unit, as I mentioned earlier. Now, in the physical survey data acquisition, there are different types of sub-bottom profiler. The choice is got. We have the pinch type, and we have the chip sub-bottom profiler. If you can see there, this one is the chip sub-bottom profiler, and you have the boomer that's tooled with a hydrophone. With the pincher type, and their energy vary, and their precision pattern also vary, and their product as well. Then for the technical operation, of course, your jackal bag is moving at this point, and then casting to the sides. And then this is when you get to the site, you have to carry out your rotary drilling to get access to the sample, and then you run your conductor pipes, and your stock and non-stock samples are collected. Then you carry out the CPT test at this point. The CPT is an important test that is usually carried out because we help to tell us the density and the shear strength of the materials we're looking at. The blue line here is showing us the density of the materials. And it's the image here is a sample of a viable coral here that shows because we have to integrate all these two together in order to get the best out of it, ontologic work, and it's very important in integrating all these features together to get the best out of our results. So it's processing is very important. So after acquisition, you need to process the data. You use different software available for processing of this data. One of the software we use basically is sonar to process our seismic, and then sub-bottom data. And then what we have here is a sample of one of our data that we process. This is a sub-bottom profile data showing gas features here. See our seabed, we have the silt, sand deposits, the rock units, very much visible around this point. This is a chip system, the pincher system, the boomer system. very much like that of seismic because it reveals the seabed feature more clearer than the two options here we have. All right, for bathymetric data is after processing it, and you can actually see the big part of that environment here. So if you're navigating, you know that okay, you're going to chart across to this point. You see also different depths, shallow down to deep, and you can as well read this data. An example of a bathymetric data where from multibeam center. And then we have now an AI-enabled multibeam center. As you're processing, you are also you are acquiring, you're also processing at the same time. That's the most interesting aspect of it, because you're seeing these pictures while you are acquiring. And this is one of the accidents we investigated last year. A rig, a company was trying to move a rig, and this is the deeper part of this area. And the captain, I don't know what happened. He couldn't follow the track. He then missed his track, and there was an accident. The serious accident investigated, so we carry out this on to the last year. And then, if the picture here shows our bathymetric data, this you can actually see our pipeline running across this point. And then we also the backing. The magnetometer actually captures this pattern. And the multibeam, the subatom profile, where you can map the pipeline at that particular point. And this the pipeline in we use the mosaic form of it to get the best out of it. And this picture is also showing a big seabed pictures that was captured using our site scan survey. Now, if you look at this picture very well as well, you can also see that evidence of fault marks were seen around this environment. We also pick the same fault mark when we sample using a subatom profiler. And you can see the subatom profiler revealing different layers within the seabed. From here, we can characterize seabed and know whether there are channels, whether there are areas of high amplitude that you avoid during your operation. Okay, you can also see a rate probably captured using an site scan sonar, because these pictures were taken below the seabed. So you can also see another rate here. You can see jackets. You see pipeline running into the jacket. Yes, this is for their line. We were able to control back. You can see pipeline running into this jacket. Process data and you tell that the kind of operation here, you have the coordinates of the pipeline, have the coordinates of the jackets to guide you in your operation. Yes, into the HR section and see showing different features. This is the water column from this point to this. There you can see different features around the seabed. You can actually infect okay area of shallow geology at this point. We also have a better information because of the samples that you get from here for the analysis, and then a booster section showing seismic resolution, different amplitudes, and different features. You can see minor faults around this point. Then you also have a margin data. You can use your supply. That is the beauty of the design software to plot as well as you have the text lines. You can actually plot them, and you see the stuff see there. You can see recent technology acquired using an AI for the old one, doing a fractured zones. These are sea mounts were captured using a multibeam echo sample. Now, making the ground model for shallow offshore infrastructure. It's very important. We have to integrate all the data. You can see our family running up. You can see geologic data from us, ground sample. You see our geophysical data from multibeam subatom provider, seismic. Then you see our technical data acquisition, then CPT care, and then use of the great ability to be able to build the models. And then we have the possibility criteria for structural field if there are issues that require that. We talk about the liquid limits, and all of them have their various values, as you can see on the slide. Now, reports and tracking. As minimum, the following should be included in your carry out the hazard assessment and survey. You have to look at the bathymetric map. You have to look at the seabed features very well. Your ice patch map. You have to look at your depth, pattern, soil profile. You also look at the regional bathymetric map of that environment. And all reports, both site report, preliminary report you acquired when taking this when acquiring data, and the final report after processing. And then we then have the chart. This survey was conducted in 2 months ago, one of the three. We come up with the chart, and the chart has been and for people to this the chart is going to hand over to your client for further interpretation and whatever they want to do with it. Then the risk, normally the hazard is very important because if you don't take cognizance of some of these features, you may end up citing your structures in an environment that will cost the life cycle of that particular structure. Because for example, the oil and gas industry has different almost 4 life cycles: the exploration, the production, development, production, and abandonment. So each of these areas, there are different geohazard assessments that are usually carried out. Whether you want to abandon, you have to do your daily survey. If you want to, I can go into exploration, you must know the water depth. If the water depth, I will tell you the number of the draft of the vessel you want to deploy for your seismic exploration. There are so many takeouts from the hazard report that you can actually carry that. And interestingly, it don't cost less than 5% of the overall project cost. So there is a need for us to look at it in details to ensure that we carry out the hazard assessment for safe working environment in the ocean. In conclusion, seabed hazard are increasing concern worldwide because of the increased activities, the offshore and the coastal environment. And the assessment of seabed hazard involves integration of different tools for effective decision making. And of course, with the advancement in technology, you can actually acquire multibeam echo swath bathymetric system. You can also acquire data. You can also acquire your Ph.D. acquisition system, and then give us the better understanding of the geological processes in the development. And regardless of the different approach, seabed mapping remains the unavoidable, if not the main step into hazard assessment, because it reveals both the man-made features that are found within the seabed environment and the natural seabed features that are always there. It is by morphology of these seabed features that we can actually discern them, whether they are pocket, whether they are mud cave, whether they are chimneys, whether they are channels. It is from the morphologies, and these morphologies are revealed in seismic section indicator, area of very high amplitude. Phase scattering. There are different methods we think how to see these features before we can actually present them. This is the top line. These are chimneys. These are mud caves. These are shallow ponds. It is based on their morphology and how they express themselves on seismic station. And some of them provide that because okay. Please, as you're going for your operation, avoid this environment. If you want to carry out any operation within this environment, you have to be very careful because before one, or is it before harvest before one? So yes, as the case will be. So that is the so it's important that we take note of this. And as we move, as our companies start moving gradually into the deep environment, it's important we take note of these important components so that we can work in a very safe working environment and then get the best out of it. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. I think we should give him another round of applause. Hey, you've done noble. This is a very good one. And yeah, I'll just give a little summary before we take the questions. We can see from the presentation that seabed geohazard assessment is very important. Very, very important in the sense that if you do not do it, you endanger the lives of people. You endanger equipment and all that. The shell people, if you think safety is expensive, try an accident. By the time you mobilize a platform to a location and you throw it into the sea on the way, then you will know what you will do. Here is Dr. Ede has taken us through the different activities that happen in the offshore environment. Okay, I guess my locations are affecting this. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, so several activities that happen around the offshore environment. And basically, in summary, you know, something was going through my mind while we were making this presentation that if you go to my grandmother and you say, oh, the grammar this man has been speaking since, what is he trying to tell us? What would you tell what would I tell my grandmother? So simply, the story he has painted today is that a lot of activities happen around the seabed. And in offshore operations, you want to mobilize a rig to a location, you want to mobilize a platform, you want to mobilize all sorts of infrastructure to your location. You need to map the path properly so that you do not run into trouble, because a lot of things are there on the seabed and slightly below the seabed. We know there are communication cables, there are pipelines, there are some materials that were left from previous activities in that area. And if you go, for example, with a jackup rig, and you want to position in an area where a metal is already on the surface somewhere there, and you go with your equipment, you get there, you begin to jack down. By the time you get in there and you put it there, you discover that maybe one leg is on iron and the other leg is on sand. After a while, your platform will undulate and you will throw everyone into the sea. We may have situations where, if proper geotechnical investigations are not done, you may see that this leg of the platform is on maybe sandstone, and this leg of the other platform, the other leg of the platform may be on mud, and by the time the weight comes on there, if you do not test the soil properly, you will run into difficulties with time. So basically, it took us through why we carry out this investigation. He also took us through the objectives of the investigation, and he touched briefly on geology of offshore environment. But basically, the summary of this is we're looking at two types of investigations. We're looking at the geophysical investigation and the geotechnical investigation. The geophysical, a lot of us can align to. You want to see what is on that seabed and what is slightly below that seabed, so that you know the type of environment you're dealing with. Geotechnical, you want to take samples, you want to run your CBT to see what exactly you want to test strength of the material down there. So that's basically the summary of all is taking us through. He looked at the different approaches, and it said something here that your personnel is key. You should go to location, then away from personnel, your calibrations must be right. You must do your calibration, then you go into acquisition, surface positioning system, your gyro compass, your USBL, echo sounders that deployed and all that. And by the time you acquire the information, proper processing is key. Just like when we acquire seismic data, we need to process. So you need to process, and a lot goes into processing. They have several software, specialized software they use for the processing. And by the time the processing is done, then you want to interpret. So your processing must be right, your acquisition must be right, your processing must be right, then you can make meaningful interpretation. That's basically the summary of what is taking us through. But I'll throw the first question. We are in an era where everybody's cutting costs. And I know moving towards the laboratory at the base or even at the location, your equipment, the different equipment you deploy and all that. But you send a proposal to Shell and they are cutting costs. How do you guys cope? Trenchmark, how do you cope with this present era of cost cutting, knowing fully well that safety should not and cannot be compromised? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc, for taking us through the presentation. But you made my work easier, well, summarizing everything. Well, we did a lot in Trenchmark. Companies thanks proposal to us. But the only challenges we have is that, most companies want to cut comments. And they want to like, okay, do this thing like this, just grow this or that. I think, no, after our name is involved, we are always very careful. Not just our name, because smells are always involved. It's just because we want to make money and you put the life of the personnel. So what we do is that we try to know that we are very expensive. We are Nigerian-based company, so we understand the terrain they are coming. Like I said, it's not for the fact that the NUPRC will give regulation. Most companies who want to do something, they just want to like move their range, move, but it's not proper. So because of the regulations from different bodies, so they are able to force them to do this survey. So on our part, what we do is that we carry out, like, things happening within the area of Italy. This is where your weather is to be. Okay, we can decide to do, we know how to plan our surveys. In the end, archaeologists we correlate. So the ground condition is not the same. But when you get a sample here, instead of getting like 10 samples within that same, because they'll propose up to 10 samples that will cost more. So what we do is that we look at the slopes, the area, and then we get the best sampling method, deploy the best sampling techniques that will reduce cost, but that will be able to give results that can be results that will be reliable, results that will be effective for the operation. That is what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we need to take questions. We'll start with my colleagues here. I'm sure Jake will have one or two questions. So bring up the questions will come. By the time it's done, can I see hands for those with questions? And those online should please begin to send in their questions so that we can have those and take them. Okay, we have number 1 there. Take your number 2. Doc, your number 3. Do we have a number 4? Okay, we'll take those 3 and see who comes up after that. Okay, you are number 2 online. Okay, we'll start with Jake, then we'll take the 2 online, then we'll start with individuals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it, especially because I think it's very important. The topic you're discussing is very important for our business. Very, very important. And I think it's not getting the necessary attention that it should get. I'm happy that regulation has been tightened, we're making more tightened with time, and that with that help, we are paying attention to the community to bring more accessibility to this topic and the values different to our business. Those will be my comments. I'll say please let's continue this advocacy to increase safety in our business in this respect. But I think it's very important. That the safety of the people and the assets our business become even less efficient. So let's take that into consideration. Couple of questions, but I will not read over them. The ones that can speak to them. I just noted them in the course of the presentation. The first one is that we keep having accidents even with geohazard in our industry. But we had a couple of accidents recently and in the past. That was from position of rigs or popularities and whatever you call it. My question is, from your experience as a very active industry practitioner, what can we do to fill that gap to make sure that we getting zero tolerance for this or have any of them? Something, anything you can share. Like you think that still missing in that journey, I think I like to hear that. You mentioned geohazard on the safety side, but there's also the side on the efficiency side, which is where you tie in the geomechanics. You want to say anything around that? All right. The second question has around the cost and timeline delivery team, which I have spoken to. So anything you want to add in there. Then what are the major differences between shallow water geohazard, deep water geohazards? Are there anything you try to implement them and any thoughts you want to share those? Those are just some of my thoughts from the presentation. But thanks for starting this journey. Please let's do more in our conference that is coming up in front and on any other platform we have to put it to help make sure that we're setting the message that this is something we should look at, and most of us are moving to the shallow and deep water space in our exploration zone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together. Okay, we're just taking the online questions.
Okay,
Okay, all right.
I think this question.
You may want to respond to these before we take the online. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Yes, let me start from the last question because you talked about the shallow water geohazard and deep water geohazard. There is a graphic drawing. I don't know if it's on slide two. Let me use it to that's because of the shallow water geohazard. When we have a mud flow from the volcanic, the base, the volcanic growth zone, and you can also see there are hazards associated with the environment here. These are shallow water environment. And we can actually see something like mass flow here. Let's say this is your cable that is running. So there are possibilities of this flow from here running into your cable, and depending on the density and the strength of the flow, it can display the scale because they have that on it. We also have polygonal faulting. Polygonal faulting is one of the shallow hazard features, natural features that we also marked in recent times. These are very minor faulting that society call it seismic fault. You cannot really mark them seismic section. We also have another one here, chimneys. Chimneys are also evidence of flow features. They are also very common in shallow water environment. In deep water, pockmarks. Yes, pockmarks very common. And you see gas hydrates. Gas hydrates. Mud flow within this environment is also the hazards that are associated with the environment. Then secondly, one of the questions you talked about regulation. Yes, despite regulation, you see people will still cut corner, because the fact that the eyes of the governments are not even there. And except if report people do a lot of terrible things, some companies, they can just tamper the existing report, turn it, this is the report we acquired from that particular thing, and submit it, and then it's wrong. So what we've been doing yes, despite geohazard assessment, there are still challenges. One of the challenges is implementation. The geoscientists should be involved in implementing, because when it comes to offshore installation, Nigerians, there's only engineers, that is why when building collapse, they always say, they're looking at the trouble behind why the building collapsed. So the implementation and development stage of the infrastructure is also very important. You can have a very good geohazard report. You say this is your pipeline, these are the areas we must avoid. But implementing it, if they don't follow up keenly with the recommendation, you may have accidents. Despite the fact that you conducted that is why it's in those hands, it is not a one-man issue. It's a team. The team has to work together. The utilizer and electrolyzer develop. If you cannot work at it, don't do it together. Because if you want to create a load, you will make mistake. And when you make mistake, it costs life. That is why we have been very careful. And we are I personally continue to push for it, for enlightenment, so that people can be well enlightened. Thank you very much.
It's Emmanuel online.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Trenchmark Services. Apparently I couldn't join. I'm not around. I'm not in the country currently, so thank you. The president, I stand on protocols already stated. Also want to thank Dr. Elijah for the wonderful presentation. There were questions that were asked or contributions that were made. I just want to make contributions to what he had already said, just to support his what he has been saying. One of the questions was on cost reductions and how have we been able as an organization to water such situations, especially in Nigeria. Obviously, one of the things we have done as an organization is to invest heavily on innovations and technologies. That has also helped us to reduce our own costs, because what happens is the companies want to know, can you do it? Can you do it? And yes, we can do it. The equipment and the technologies are in country. We don't need to bring them from outside the country, which becomes a whole lot of cost. So this helps us to reduce our costs also, which in line with what most oil and gas companies are looking out for, a cost reduction. It's a general thing. Then there was also the question on zero tolerance to accidents, in spite of the fact that hazards this geohazard assessments have been done. Thank you, Dr. Elijah, for that wonderful insight. Another thing I want to add to this is that, like he made mention of standards. Apart from standards only, there are also validity of the survey that have been carried out. For instance, if you carry out a survey, say 2023 January, such survey or such geophysical survey, especially for seabed survey, cannot or should not be used as the data should not be used for a project for 2024 December. So what it means is that organizations, the oil and gas companies that intend to go for a project, the intent for a project or to install facility, there should be proper planning. And what proper planning means, timelines to everything. And those timelines means, if we're going to do this by this time, we should do this by this other time and this by this time. This is based on the fact that International Hydrographic Association has timelines for which standards for which data acquired can be used. After 6 months to 1 year, those data become invalid, because anything you go due to one of these is current movement and current flow and movement. So I'll give an example, like for instance, the Calabar Channel. I want to give an example like the Calabar Channel. Data was acquired sometime, and then 2 years later, they came to, after dredging, came back to say they want to dredge it, they want to check the data. and said, no, the dredging had been done, dredging hadn't been done and all that. But in reality of the reality of the fact was that the time the data, the dredging was carried out and data was acquired after the dredging, and the time for a second time dredging to come and confirm if that work had been done had passed over 2 years, and it became a whole lot of problem. And that's why most companies like Shell, Chevron, and there's this consistency in them requesting for geohazard assessment of their field to ensure that there is on-the-spot assessments, because it gives them what we call the data-driven decision-making, gives them a better decision-making. So that's about I think Dr. Elijah had made mention, already said something on shallow water and deep water. And to add to that is the process, the methodology of also carrying out the shallow water and deep water a bit different. The deep water, this comes with remote technology, which is AUV, which is being used for that due to. So thank you very much. That's my contribution to.
Very much. Thank you very much. That's what I have to get. Thank you very much. The second person online is Godwin. Godwin, can we hear you, please?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me. Good morning, Doc. And thank you for that wonderful presentation. My question is, can satellite imagery be used as a tool to enhance better assessment of offshore operation? It's just a question. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, it can. It can be used. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, it can be used. It can be used because we are into survey. So it can be used. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it can be used, and really, satellite imagery is really always the beginning point for this type of survey. You know, they will look at what is existing, and from there, at the point of bidding, you're beginning to look at some of this. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we'll take some questions here. Number one, who is number one? Please, let's hear you.
Good morning. I'm David from Ph.D. Technical Services.
Can you hold on?
Just wait so that one line can hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Expanding on the existing response and now we can from Ph.D. Technical Services. My question was, I would like you to, if I was to explain more better, there are some certain things that I really get sub-bottom profiler. For example, if you are using sub-bottom profiler MSB 216S, please can you just explain? Thank you. You heard the question?
Yes. Yes. A sub-bottom profiler is one of our tools we use for shallow geology. Just to what it does is that it works based on the principle of reflection seismology, right? Science on a wave that get reflected and then take it. And then, of course, we need to talk about the connection. Because there are lots, because you have to ensure that you have your top site, you have your positioning system, you have everything. So in tow, then those sub-bottom is not mounted. Some of these are our position equipment. Some are mounted, some are towed, and depending on the water depth. So like magnetometer is usually towed. So what the sub-bottom does is that it sends a wave based on the peak or reflection seismology. It's not like seismic, but more like it's not those really higher resolution seismic. It's just shallow. So it reveals layer. It does not tell us the lithology. Sub-bottom doesn't tell you the lithology. It only tells you the layering of the seabed. It is the gravity. Because people will not use sub-bottom and say this is sand, this is. You cannot say this is still or sand because you're not very sure of it. Only you can. It's not you can do okay. We are on clay, we are on seed, You know, but what the sub does is that it's the data after processing. You use sonar with, for example. So you process it, you map the layers, you look at the details, see the pipeline, see this parabolic curve, and then you map all the other components that are needed. Maybe if you need more information, we have our experts, they are all here. They can also speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Number 2, please. If you want to clap, please clap. Number 2.
Thank you so much for your explanation. You really did a lot, and I would also emphasize your technical and your physical importance is very needed for the advanced industry because it can't put them aside right. But the issue I had a little bit was most of the equipment listed. Many people do not understand because you fail to give a working test for it and a simple explanation how it is. Example, size transfer just for to view the seabed, and it can help you to see those pictures which you're talking about, and the sub-bottom profile which you're talking about. There, in as much as it will help you to see some buried objects, it can also take you to the program of the seabed. Because once you look at it, you see it is looking southwest or northwest, depending on the direction you are like. And also, what I wanted to ask also, your energy touched big point there because in terms of shallow water and water pushing, the depth varies. And both of us know that all the physical equipment are depth rated. There are some equipment that cannot go below 300, sometimes go below that. So once we said that, I was like, oh, he has covered all those things. But in explanation or real technical, I think you can give the basic principle of such equipment and the importance of it, because without the magic, you can't see those magnetic properties. And also that's first. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was insisting she has to tell us who she is. We don't know her name.
My name is Adora Soman, Journalist from DOS.
Number 3, please. Yeah, Doc. It should be absolutely now. Yes. First, I want to commend the speaker from literally under me at the University of Harcourt for a PhD. And I'm happy that he has done justice to his work, for his presentation. But I just want to ask, although I didn't get it, did you factor in sedimentology in this presentation? Because even if you do all your science, your geophysical, and your geotechnical, because I don't have this problem with the engineering geologists. You throw away seals and clay, and you make all your calculations, and you make everything. But the seals and the clays are the real products. So if you factor in sedimentology and taking care of this, even in your interpretations, I think you will make a final product. Thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. I have a couple of my lecturers here. Well, sedimentology is only one sediment, right? So whatever you're interpreting, it's based on the principle of sedimentology as well, because sedimentology also tell us about their positional environment. And when we have the project, we do our literature review. Because if they are going to go, let's say Shell has given us the project and we know the location. We don't just rush it. We do, people like Dr. Dide are waiting a lot of papers online. You have to go back and look at the literature of that environment. The literature will give you an idea of where you are going. Then after you acquire your data. You have to speak sedimentology to the data. You have to speak geology to that data because it is that is where interpretation comes in. Interpretation is not just given to anybody, but the report is a product of the interpretation. So we sit down, we analyze the results of our geotechnical parameters, then we integrate everything, the sub-bottom profiler, and all the physical acquisition activities. We integrate them before we come up with a final report, sign it, then before we can hand over to the company. Then to the our very big sister that just talked. Yes, you have seen before. This paper is limited in 5 minutes. So if you want to talk about the working principle of size scan, it will just because it's a big one. In fact, when we did the seismic in school, principle will be low because almost a month because you're doing it in different places. So if we want small explanation, basic physics of wave, what we apply here, and this equipment work based on the principle of wave that we all know, and reflection seismology. So we need to work on that, and then thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
I think I want to. Okay, we'll take only one more question of contribution. Our time is fast spent. We'll take only one more. Oh, you again?
No, I just want to add something to what he asked.
Okay.
When we talk about segmentology, he says something from the seabed morphology. You studied your segmentology already, because you know where your slope is, down to the attachments and all that. But also, in what he's saying, they put segmentology in place because once you get a segment through coding, you have your segment in place. You can look at porosity and other things.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eke. Thank you very much. I think we need to put our hands together. While we are live to get down. Thank you very much. It really done justice to this. I'm not going to hold us any further, except to say that advocacy, we need to get the NUPLC and all of them to make sure the proper laws that constrain operators to carry out these surveys are put in place. I know we have several of those, but people will try to bypass. And like I said earlier, if you think safety is expensive, try an accident. So we do not want accidents on our hands. The proper advocacy or proper regulations rather should be put in place to make sure this survey are what we call minimum standard for any projects. Also, the present-day government, they've been talking about the ocean economy, the blue economy. I think the government should really consider engaging companies like Trenchmark to carry out speculative or regional study of our seabeds, such that different people can now go, if you want information about an area, you can buy into that area and see what's existing. And such database should be ongoing. It's not what you just do once and you let it be. It's expensive, but when you engage experts like Trenchmark, they can put this together and you have that elaborate database of seabed information, and everybody can buy in and do whatever they need to do with it. We've had a very wonderful time with Dr. Eke. Again, we say thank you, and you, the audience, too. I'm sure my coordinator will thank you more, but we appreciate you for your patience. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to our wonderful chairman for today's occasion, Dr. G.D. Honestly. All right, we have a few more things to do as we wrap up this meeting. But before we go ahead, I would like to recognize some persons who are with us here present and some online. So In no particular order, permit me, I would like to also recognize online the presence of the former NAPI president in the person of Mr. Alex Paschal. We also have online for the Warwick chapter, Mrs. Juliet Emodianubi, something like that. Very and here in the room with us here in Port Harcourt, we have the presence of some from the academia and the companies. I have Mr. Anene from Nubian. We have Professor Agency from Uniports and Dr. Whitmore as well from Uniports. Now, to every other person who may not have gotten hold of you or your present, actually, you're also highly welcome. Please put your hands together for everybody. So this time we'll take the sponsor's remark and we would like to invite the representative from Trenchmark to come and give us their sponsor's remark. All right, is our Honorable AGS.
Good afternoon once again, everybody. Okay. I'm standing here on behalf of our noble and very humble directors, Mr. Emmanuel Oyedinazu, Mr. Seabed, and our surveyor, Mr. Tunchuku. They all have given me the opportunity to represent them today. Okay. Okay, Trenchmark Services Limited is an indigenous company. Started in the year 2012. We have a strong management team that have over 20 years experience. Employ cutting-edge technology in our system. We are happy to announce that we are the very first company in West Africa to include AI in our equipment, the multibeam. We are also ISO certified, so our prospective clients, we are operating with the world standard. We are also members of the NAPE, NMGS, and COME. Our vision and mission, we are always striving to provide quality services to our clients, meet our management, Mr. Emmanuel, Mr. Seabed. Among them, we have geophysicists and we have our registered surveyor. Our services, we provide 2DHR seismic survey, we provide offshore geophysical seabed survey, ROV, inspection services, remove, and all that. Our software, ProMax, Vista for seismic, sonar winds processing suite, HiPark, HiSweep, and so on. These are our clients, and we also hope to get more clients. Then our project highlights. We are happy to announce that the just commenced 20,000 barrel production by PSE&P. Trenchmark was part of the process. We provided a positioning service. Then we have also provided for SPDC ROV positioning support service. Then we created a engineering survey for PSE&P2 in 2021. We did the geophysical, the geotechnical as well. Then this is the CPT operation for Anantaruba in 2020. We've also carried out a short drilling rig move and positioning for Chevron in 2020. We have provided ROV for Awarise and for Mobile in 2019. This is a 2DHR seismic survey carried out for Chevron in 2018. We will not forget to mention that our success story are also contributed, and be contributed by our professional members who have worked with pride, putting safety in every stride. So we want to thank everyone who have contributed to the growth of Trenchmark. We also want to thank our clients and our prospective clients. Thank you for giving us this wonderful opportunity. God bless now. God bless.
Thank you very much. All right, we also would like at this point, we have also a sponsor with us, and we need to take some remarks from those from the sharpshooters. So I'd like the reps to come forward, put your hands together for them. And give us
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
And the student also seated there, and also our main presence. We are happy, and especially I would thank our chapter coordinator, Dr. Magnus, for getting this collaboration all together. It has been so good to us, and we continue to pray that this partnership continues to grow. Yeah, we are from Sharpshooters, and we cover the event and also the portraits and back. So with the free portraits, anyone that's here to get the portrait can get the free portrait and back. And also of charge. Yeah. And also we are Sharpshooters media. So prior to this, I also think that we are just video and photograph, but we are one of that way digital company, and also we cover anything concerning media because we believe that oil and gas industry, I don't like to focus only on what is oil and gas. Why we take anything concerning media, and we have worked with Shell, we have worked with several many companies, we have worked with them, and we have done it. And also we have a special product at the back. All you guys, whereby you can, as a professional, able to celebrate in my story life. We have many products whereby you can use. Pray God continue to help us. But even me, I have an economic background, but I've learned to God just coming to that event, and I pray God continue to enlighten this community.
All right, we are beginning to come towards the end of this month's technical meeting. So we will be taking a vote of thanks at this point. And we have one noble person among us online who will do this responsibility for us at this point in time. And we would like to invite, if he's online, we confirm he's online. Thank you. We would like to invite the special recognition, the president-elect of NAPI, Mr. Uche John Bosco, to give us votes of thanks. Mr. John Bosco.
Yes, thank you very much. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please confirm you can hear me very clearly.
Very clearly, we can hear you.
Okay, I've also put in my video.
You can have the video on as well, so we can see on the screen. It will be great as well.
It is video, so I've put in the video now. So I'm both my video and audio is on. So thank you very much for that intro. And again, I really want to say a big thank you, first of all, to every single one that is still in the room for this monthly technical session for Port Harcourt chapter, but also those that are online. It's been quite encouraging to see a good number month after month to show up in solidarity, but most importantly, to do what we are known to do best, which is around knowledge base of the industry. Of course, our ideas find oil and gas, but not just find oil and gas. Our ideas also try to provide different kinds of solution, as we've heard today from the Seabed Geohazard assessment presentation that we had. So I want to thank everybody in the first instance for the commitment to Port Harcourt chapter. And I think one thing about Port Harcourt chapter is that, I mean, they've been quite diligent in making sure that the topics are really top qualities. Such a way that whoever that attends the meeting, you anticipate to actually look forward to the next one. I thought the last one I attended was quite good, and this one as well has shown another dimension to what we do in the oil and gas industry. So thank you very much to the chapter coordinator and the entire executive and members of Port Harcourt chapter. I know I didn't join from the beginning, but again, it was good to see Dr. Jide. I know we saw face to face only about 2-3 weeks ago at OTC. So great to see you help us to chair the session today. So I really want to say a big thank you. You have been a very strong, member of NAPE, but also providing all kinds of support, be it financial or knowledge based. So I want to thank you, and we expect to continue to see you play a significant role in NAPE as we move forward. Looking to the side of Dr. Jide, one of our own, Jeke Mapo, who is advisory council member and a strong pillar in the industry. So it's good to see you continuous support, both offline and online in what we do in NAPE, but also Port Harcourt chapter in particular. So I really want to say a big thank you again on behalf of the executives, the BOT and AC of NAPE. And the presenter yourself, I thought it's good to have a bit of diversified view of what we do in the oil and gas industry. I mean, if you don't get it right with geohazard analysis, if you don't get some of the seabed issues resolved, then we can't even bring in our rigs, we can't even bring in the seismic crew, we can't even drill our wells. So what you do is really critical. So it's good that you were able to do this today to showcase what you do, but also a bit of shared learning for us to take home. So Dr. AJ Elijah, I really want to say a big thank you for the session and for the presentation you made today. I know we've listened to the sponsor. Without the sponsors, we can't really go far. So we have our corporate sponsors, but also sponsors in this kind of events on a monthly basis. So great to listen to your story, your success story, and also your look ahead. So I really want to say, again, on behalf of the executive of NAPE, I want to say thank you, Trenchmark Services, for all you do in the industry and your support to NAPE. I also, again, I know the MC have recognized few folks on the call, so I won't want to go through all of them, but always good to see our past president, Elestaka, FNAPE. Also good to see other fellows, Kano, consistent joining of our technical meetings, both in Lagos, but also at the chapter level. And all the ESCOs that are online and in the room, the vice president, FNAPE, Ehi Bazwa, FNAPE is on the call. The EIC I see are in the room, and the Warri chapter coordinator. I think I see the UAPC as well. So thank you for all you do and the support in these kind of sessions. I also see Emo, right? The former chapter coordinator as well. So good to have you always. So for the ESCO of Port Harcourt chapter, again, all you're doing is not, is quite being recognized. So your chapter coordinator, Dr. Magnus, can represent you quite well at the ESCO level. And that's why all the progress you're seeing has been going in this direction. So I really want to say thank you, Dr. Magnus, and your entire team. So thank you, everybody in the room, both those in the academia and those in the oil and gas industry and the students. All I can say is continue to stay plugged into what we do in NAPE, because this is, that's the front runner association in this industry. And at the country level, we're making inroads, as you would have seen, at the government level, at the National Assembly. So people are beginning to recognize that indeed, you need us to really drive the agenda of the oil and gas industry in this country. So I really want to thank you for supporting us, and we expect to see you more. I think it was Jake that mentioned it. For the presenter, try to make sure this presentation finds its way into the NAPE conference, so that a larger audience can also benefit from this. And for those in the room, again, if you haven't written any paper, think about writing one, so that at least the industry at large will benefit from your wealth of experience. So on that note, I will say thank you very much, everybody, and I will take you back to the room to continue with the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, President-elect Mr. Richard Jambosu. We have about 2-3 items to wrap up this meeting, so I'd like to invite back here with us the chapter coordinator here in Paschal, Dr. Paschal, as he presents the plaque. I would also like the representative of Trenchmark and the speaker himself to be here as they receive this plaque for this meeting. So please, Trenchmark Services, can we have you, the presenter? Yes.
I'm so excited, very, very excited, with the reviews that we give to us. Please, a round of applause for the meetings. Thank you very much. And just to also say that while I was here right now, to confirm that geotechnical meeting sorted out. Right. It's started by saying and what we try to do at Paschal chapter, we don't just take any quality of presentation. Just like the PD said, you come here, you listen, you have something to take away, something that challenges your mind, to know what else or to chat the course, so to speak. And then also, I got on that confirmation that July has also been taken to his concept. And let's see, right? Fantastic. And so we're really grateful because that also be announced. And just a recognition of what people are doing as sponsors, because without them, it takes a lot to really host this kind of meeting here. We didn't take you to the market square for this kind of meeting or to the school hall. That's what we will do. We'll bring you here, and it costs. So we are deeply, deeply, deeply grateful And that's why we could allow as much airtime to our sponsors to really talk about what they do and then give them the kind of visibility that, that puts them on. Everybody's seeing this. He knows, everybody's seeing it in Nigeria right now connected to this meeting. And it's also going to be uploaded, on YouTube after that. So this is a very big platform for your organization. So, hey, collaborate with us. You can never lose. So, we have more channel, and you are the speaker and the representative, and that person do it. Please come and join me, Mrs. Channels. What can I do this? I will present the sponsors plaque, and then you present. We have we have also presenters plaque. When you spend, he's a geoscientist. When you spend time to really, develop your presentation and come up here to share, I think we should recognize it. So we also have plaques of presenters. We didn't do this on the March edition, but we're going to do it today. I'm going to present to the two of them. But today, I have that. But this is the sponsor plaque in appreciation of your sponsorship, Trenchmark, Science Limited, on behalf of NAPE, Harcourt Chapter Executive Committee, we'd like to thank you. Okay. So we'd like to, cheers, Sukas is coming now. Okay, we'll begin from the month of March. Okay, so you can do this.
Okay, yeah, I was here during the March presentation, and Dr. Adeshita did justice to that. Please come forward for your plan. Dr. Adelola Adeshita, in recognition of your outstanding presentation at the March 2024 edition of the Paschal chapter technical meeting. Congratulations.
For this month.
Okay, and for this month, Dr. A.J. Elijah O. Paschal, in recognition of your outstanding presentation at today's edition of the Harcourt chapter technical meeting, we present you this plaque.
All right, thank you very much for this presentation. Right now, we'll take the announcements, which will be taken by Mr. Callistus Niley, our General Secretary.
All right. Good afternoon all. The time is fast spent. We're not going to waste much time. We just want to take a look at some of the few activities NAPE in general has an announcement for all of us that are seated here before. Please. Beginning. Okay. All right. Top on the list is the fact that our association's annual general meeting is forthcoming up, and a lot of pre-requisite activities like the call for papers and all the things are going on. So this is the announcement of the annual general conference. Please try as much as possible to check your emails for those of us that are members, and then key into this flyers when you see them, if you have presentations or you want to be part of the conference. Like I said, we have, I think this should be the second call for abstracts. We listened to a very rich paper today. I'm sure you can imagine what will going to happen in the annual conference itself. People will be coming up with a lot of paper presentations is going to be enriching. I bet you will go back not same if you attend our annual conferences. So please, those of us that have enriching papers to present, do well to keep into this call for abstracts. Submit your abstracts for enlisting so that you'll be part of the annual conference. We have the sub-teams and all the necessary information with respect to your abstract and all the details. Tell the name. Again, okay, this is it. We really want to let those of our corporate sponsors here and those listening to us from online, go here and here in Nigeria and outside, that we at the annual conference have spaces for them to exhibit their products and services. We have reserved slots that you can make your choice from. All you need to do is contact the secretariats on the availability of slots, and then you can pick your position from the slots available. Not to forget that we equally conduct what we call the summer schools, right? For some of us that want details to some of these topics. We enhance our learning in mapping, and this is part of the enhancement of learning, seismic processing fundamentals and practice. This is a summer school, and it's going to take place from 5th to 7th June. So if you are interested in knowing the processing fundamentals and practice, please do well to key into this summer school, and I'm sure you will not be the same after attending. Again, we have the costume of the summer school. We have the reservoir description from course to site, and that will be taken by our own. The person anchoring this meeting today, he will be available to tutor and work with you on the reservoir descriptions from course to site. I'm sure you for today you know it's going to be a regional forum. We only have an activity for the students. Enough, no one is left out. The students, the YPs, the professionals, mid-professionals, the senior level, everybody's carried along the mapping. This basin evaluation competition is for the students, for our students that are still in the universities, for them to get their identity in terms of what we do in the industry. So our students are encouraged to key into the basin evaluation competitions from the different schools will be competing for this an award, because this is an award competition. Okay, so these are some of the details of the basin evaluation competition. Okay, this is all about volunteer to mentor. Some of us that are professionals in the industry, we are called to come along and see if we can mentor the students as they walk through the basin evaluation. So if you're interested to mentor a certain school or schools, you can key into that activity of mentorship. We have the Geologist Life Challenge. This, you are expected to equally participate if you're interested. Okay, it's part of the details. Okay, this is about the energy week. That will be energy. You know, in the oil industry, we collaborate, and in collaboration, we expand our horizons. It's about the energy week. If you're interested to be part of it, you can attend. Very important is our internal priority. You know, these enriching activities might elude you if you're not a member of NAPI. Or better still, they are being presented at the subsidized rates for members. That is not the only benefit of being a member. And if you look at the board, it doesn't really cost much to be a member. So what is the only loss? Why don't we join this association? Together we can grow the association to a greater height. Membership is very important. There are a lot of benefits to derive from being a member of NAPE. We are encouraged to register. As I told you earlier, everybody is carrying along. Students, active, associates, the corporate, everybody is carried along, and we can all be part of NAPE. I mean, there's no association without dues. As members, we're encouraged to pay our dues early enough so that the association can run. Not forgetting, as the chairman and the president-elect meetings, and equally my coordinator, to have this kind of meetings not easy, requires sponsorship. So companies are encouraged to do well to key into these technical meetings so that they can promote their services as well as enrich the educational basis of the members. Thank you very much. Okay. Last but not the least is the forthcoming NAPE election. That will be, I mean, the schedule has already been announced. We're already in May. Those that are aspiring will be, shown to us by the 1st of May. Interest indication has already been, timeline has already passed. Those who are supposed to lead us in the next year's executive committee are expected to nominate and indicate interest so that they will be part of the executive committee. Okay, this is the timeline for the different stages of the election process. Okay. I think that will be, thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right, so that brings us to the end of this meeting today. I think we can put our hands together for all of us. And also for our online audience, we thank you very much. So to take the closing prayer with the recommendation of the EIC, we want to invite Dr. Idiozu to come take the closing prayer for us as we wrap up this meeting. He's also a reverend. We call him all right, sir.
Let us pray. Thanks God, the glory. Praise being yes, God. Father, we give you thanks for this technical session. From the beginning to the end, you have glorified yourself. We thank you, Lord, because you have prospered this chapter and you have prospered nationally for all they do. We pray as we return back to our various places, workplace, lectures, home, with the Almighty God, guide us and lead us. In the glory of His name, we will glorify the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Then there is we call it item 7, but probably item 14. That will be standard for us. But I think there'll be a photo as well with the speakers and the leadership personality here present. So please, can the speaker come forward with the Trenchmark and have also here with the leadership of the church. Thank you.
And as part of the photograph session, we had a we had a great teaser for those of us on our pages. We had a great teaser for those of us on our pages. We had reported a situation where we will know how well we know that thing. So unfortunately, we have only one entry. Sorry? Yeah. The answers, the correct answers in the red start to be on the page.
To recognize that text, I don't know if the following person is around. Let me come and take the group photograph, the airport and the item.
I think you should have a picture of it.
Mr. Bowen, are you here in the hall? Okay, it's not available. Sorry.